I will say my notes for the slaughter are much more disorganized, or my pedagogue notes for the slaughter is much more disorganized than the other two. But in a sense, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, just because the slaughter, in some sense, like lets us transition into the the other weeks or whatnot. But it also gets at, but the slaughter piece, I will say, will get at the primary question, which I would say is the question that's like informing the entire syllabus for this semester, which is why did Marxism consider the party necessary or not, right? So the three main points I want to hit on with the slaughter is the idea of consciousness, organization, and the non-identity of class, party, and leadership or whatnot. So, okay, so slaughter or whatnot, right? So slaughter actually starts this piece by point like the two pieces that are informing slaughter or the two pieces that are informing slaughter or whatnot, or sorry, the two figures who are informing slaughter is Trotsky and Gramsci or whatnot, both of them being Leninist or whatnot, right? And he's using both of them or whatnot against Stalin or whatnot, who's also seen as a Leninist or whatnot, right? Because both Trotsky and Gramsci stress the role of consciousness and revolutionary leadership, whereas Stalinist or whatnot, which is a pro-Leninist tendency, and social democracy, which, as we talked about, became basically a stinking corpse or whatnot, both understood themselves as Marxist or whatnot, right? Did not emphasize the role of consciousness and revolutionary leadership. In a sense or whatnot, what Slaughter actually says is that social democracy and Stalinism, so social democracy being reformism and Stalinism being opportunism, are two sides of the same coin. What does he mean by that? He says that they're the same side of he says that they're the two sides of the same coin because they don't they're as he puts it, economistic, which also means economic determinism, which today or not you hear when people talk about accelerationism or not, which is the idea that both Stalinism and social democracy had this understanding of their own understanding of revolution was economic conditions or whatnot, right? Like you have economic conditions get worse, then you have revolution or whatnot, right? Or it's like that society for Stalin or whatnot, it's like the idea that society progresses through phases. You have slavery, then feudalism, then capitalism, then socialism or whatnot, right? Social democracy, very similar or whatnot. The whole idea or whatnot was just capitalism can't just be reformed into socialism or whatnot. It's just a transitional process or whatnot, right? Two sides of the same coin. They're both economically determinist or whatnot, right? Slaughter says no, right? Like Marx, Lenin, the whole point of Marxism or whatnot is to emphasize the subject in society. Mm-hmm. To say that no, actually, it's history is not just determined by economic factors. History is determined by politics, and in politics, what you have is the realm of political actors. You have the realm of the subject or whatnot, right? The whole point that the whole point of the party or whatnot, right? Or why Marxism considered the party necessary is because the party was supposed to be the historical subject or whatnot. It was supposed to, in some sense, be the historical consciousness of the working class or whatnot. It was supposed to be the subject in society. It was a subject that makes history rather than is determined by history. So the understanding there is no, actually this just as material conditions just as material conditions condition our consciousness in society, so too does the subject, or so too does the do we condition material conditions or whatnot. So subject object or whatnot, right? So the idea there, or whatnot, is that object affects subject, subject affects object, or put another way or whatnot, history, historical conditions, the economy, all of this or whatnot conditions the working class or whatnot. But the party or whatnot is supposed to be the consciousness of the working class or whatnot in making history or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. This is why Stalinism and social democracy are the same side of this, are two sides of the same coin. They don't have this understanding. They just take it as an economically determined, or it's just determinism, or it's just economism. It's just it's just things, things move through stages or whatnot. Mm. No, you need to have the subject in society or whatnot, right? Subject in history or whatnot, right? Slaughter also points out or whatnot that
So Slaughter believed that you need the subject.
Yeah, Slaughter believed that you need a subject or whatnot, and his whole point or whatnot is that Trotsky, Lenin, Marx, or whatnot, they all understood this or whatnot, right? The people who don't understand this, they're Stalinists and the Social Democrats or whatnot, right? Stalin also points out that another two sides of the same coin is the like the socialist movement during a lot of time is in some sense like broadly split between a Stalin-philic tendency and a Stalin-phobic tendency or whatnot, right? And he says they're both problems or whatnot, because he says the Stalin-philic tendency, which is just like affirms Stalinism or whatnot, where it's like yes, like which basically just goes yes, like yes Stalin, yes the opportunism of Stalinism or whatnot, yes like the Soviet Union, like yes the Soviet Union, yes all this or whatnot, right? Like yes this is socialism or whatnot. Like the Stalin-philic tendency narrows historical horizons. But also so does the Stalin-phobic tendency, because the Stalin-phobic tendency or whatnot is to be like the USSR is state, state capitalist, and then it's also just to reject Stalin, it's just to reject Stalingrad. But then it's like, well, there has to be an understanding that Stalin did arise out of Marxism or whatnot, right? But it's like if he is an opportunist, but it did arise or not. So the Stalin-phobic tendency or not. In some sense, like it rejects a historical understanding for the phenomena of Stalinism or not. So Stalinphilia and Stalinphobia become two sides of the same coin, also or not, right? The for Slaughter, the true Trotskyist understanding or not is to understand in some sense the dialectic or not between Stalinphilia and Stalinphobia or not, is to both critique Stalin but also understand Stalin as a historical symptom or whatnot, right? Unfortunately, like Trotskyists today or whatnot just tend to be completely Stalinphobic or whatnot. So and this is the regression of Stalin, but this is the regression of the left that Trotskyists are now just Stalinphobic or whatnot, and those who affirm Stalin are just highly Stalinphilic or whatnot, right? But the early Trotskyists or whatnot, no, they understood Trotsky, the early Trotskyists following Trotsky understood no, there's a dialectic between the two. Okay, so the role. So I've already talked about subject-object or not, the role of consciousness in history or not, right? The object conditions the subject and the subject conditions the object, and what that really means is, the working class, the history conditions the working class, but the working class also makes history or not, right? The whole purpose of the party or whatnot, or the whole purpose of the party or whatnot is that, the class by itself, or the working class by itself or whatnot is just a sociological category or whatnot in a sense or whatnot. It's sociological in the sense that it's like, oh, who is the working class? It's like, oh, those who are, those who labor, or those who labor away, those who work for a wage or whatnot, wage earners, all that sort of stuff. That's a sociological understanding of class or whatnot. That's a class for itself, that's a class in itself. Yeah, that's a class in itself or whatnot. It's a very sociological understanding or whatnot, right? It's just like you just have a class. The whole purpose of the party or whatnot is to, in some sense, overcome that sociological understanding. Say actually no, can we make the class into a political subject? It's to make that sociological understanding into a political understanding, where it's can we have a class for itself, a class that advocates for its interests, but not only
representation for that class.
Yeah, but not only just represent the immediate interests of the class, but what are the interests of the class historically or whatnot, right? Because and this is Lenin's point or whatnot, that historical consciousness, the party, the party in some sense stands outside of the class while also being part of the class. Because Lenin's idea is that the best the working class can achieve on its own or whatnot is trade union consciousness. In some sense, the best that the working class can do or whatnot is in some sense just engage in the class struggle, to basically engage in an economic struggle, right? They can basically battle with the capitalists or whatnot, in trying to argue for higher wages and all that sort of stuff. That's the best that the working class can do. But the party or whatnot, right? The party which is composed of intellectuals or whatnot, that brings in the workers or whatnot. The party or whatnot brings consciousness. So if the working class or whatnot has a trade union consciousness, the party brings about a class consciousness to it, or in some sense a historical consciousness of it, in the sense of the party or not takes a view of all of society, takes a view of all of history, understands all of history has been a history of class struggles. So it's what is the task of the working class? The task of the working class is to abolish itself as a class or not, right? So Lenin's whole point or not is that the purpose of a party or not is to make is to bring class consciousness to the workers or not, is to make it the class for itself to not only advocate for its immediate interest, but also advocate for its humanity's interest, or basically the interest of humanity lies in the interest of the working class in abolishing itself, right? It's the historical task or whatnot. That's the role of the party or whatnot, right? So the role of the party has been some sense to subjugate the economic struggle to the political struggle, right? If the workers only engage in the economic struggle of trying to battle for higher wages and all that sort of stuff, the purpose of the party or not is to bring that into the political realm, which is
to bring the context, right? So
bring the context,
bring the past and the future, and
basically recover the past into the present in anticipating the future or not, right? Basically having this dialogue, the past task is the present, and the present critiques the past or not, right? So it's bringing this in anticipating the future or not. It's historical consciousness or not, right? In some sense, it's seeing the bigger picture or not, right? The task of the party or not is to elevate the economic struggle into the political struggle, right? Into the struggle of taking over the state or not, right? Because if the state if the state is a function in which society moves or in which society is confined to or not, the working class's seizure of the state or not is how it can actually work through this history or not, or work on this historical task or not, right? So, I guess, put very briefly, the whole purpose of the party or not is to bring historical consciousness to the proletariat. Historical consciousness being revolutionary consciousness. And within the party, what's important or whatnot is leadership, or more specifically, how a party is organized. Because for Lenin, the whole idea is the party cannot just yes, it should strive to be a mass party, but it also needs to be ideologically rigid. It needs to have revolutionary discipline or whatnot. It needs to understand its task or whatnot, right? Lenin has this idea of democratic centralism or whatnot, which is, what is democratic centralism? It's the idea that the party or whatnot is democratic or whatnot, in the sense that arguments go on within the party or whatnot, right? But whatever decision is made by the democracy of the party or whatnot, it centralizes or whatnot. So whatever is decided, based off the democracy of the party or whatnot, this centralizes into the authoritative command of the party or whatnot. Where once the decision is reached by the majority or whatnot, everyone needs to fall in line to the centralization of that. You can't be but I disagree with that. No. You can't just have, you can't still have a democratic element there where it's okay, well, this was a decision of the party, but I disagree with it. It's no. You need to fall in line or whatnot. This is democratic centralism. It's there's a dialectic between democracy and the centralization of authority or whatnot, or authority and democracy or whatnot, democracy and centralism or whatnot, right? So democratic centralism in an organization is, how does an organization remain ideologically rigid or whatnot, but while also allowing for disagreements or whatnot, right? And through democratic centralism or whatnot, it's the idea there or whatnot is when you have a party that's democratically a party that is based on the principles of democratic centralism, you can have the political independence of the working class or whatnot, right? Because basically a disorganized party or whatnot is when you have a party where it's it in some sense allows the class interest of all parties to come together or whatnot, kind of what you saw happen with the German SPD or whatnot, where it became a steaming corpse because it just in some sense it just allowed all these tendencies to come in or whatnot, and then it just it just had, in some sense, it didn't really have an ideology, or the ideology it just wasn't it didn't actually inform the party's practice or whatnot. Lenin's whole idea is no, you have an ideologically rigid organization or whatnot, right? You have the political independence of the working class. The whole purpose of the party or whatnot is to be the consciousness and ideology of the working class or whatnot, right? And Lenin basically develops this conception of the party or whatnot during the era of imperialism or whatnot, right? Imperialism being basically the epoch in which you have the concentration of capital, you have the expansion of you have capitalism expands all over the globe, you have monopoly capitalism, you have capitalism and the state become more one and the same or whatnot, you have higher bureaucratizations, all this sort of stuff. Lenin basically develops the conception of the party, because the reason why Lenin develops this conception of the party is he realizes hey, unlike the bourgeoisie during the era of feudalism, where the bourgeoisie in some sense could build up their own culture or whatnot against the monarchy or whatnot, right? Like they could build up their own kind of society in opposition to the monarchy or whatnot, or, all that sort of stuff. And so like bourgeois society came before a bourgeois revolution or whatnot, right? Like you had a transformation of society before you had a bourgeois revolution. Lenin's whole point is like, well, the workers can't do that because the workers live in bourgeois society or whatnot, right? Like the workers can't develop their own independent institutions and all that sort of stuff. They can't do that, right? We're all in the schools we go to, the education we have or whatnot. It's all informed by the bourgeoisie or whatnot, right? Lenin's whole point is you can't create a society outside of capitalism. We're all in capitalism. So Lenin's like, what can we do? He's like, the only and strongest tool that the working class has is organization. The fact that the working class can organize itself or not. So the whole idea there is that if the working class can organize themselves into an ideologically disciplined party or whatnot, then it can actually, take control of society or whatnot. It can seize control of the state or whatnot, right? Then basically, I'm actually going to split. So I guess I'll make a brief note because, Lenin's also a big proponent for splitting the party, where he says that hey, once a party or not starts to become ideologically loose or whatnot, there's a necessity to split the party or whatnot, right? Where, once you start to have these opportunist tendencies in the party or whatnot, you have a necessity of split. You have a necessity to say okay, we need to split the party. We need to have in some sense our own organization against the opportunists, or in some sense we need to throw out the opportunity. We need to throw out the other tendency. That's how you keep an organization ideologically rigid or not, by
purification of it.
Yeah, by ideologically splitting the party. However, Slaughter notes that because Lenin later in his life when he writes Left-wing Communism and Infantile Disorder, Lenin's against the idea of sectarianism. Sectarianism is the idea of the you know what a sect is or whatnot, right?
Kind of.
So you know how religious sects or whatnot,
right?
Yeah. So the idea of a sect or whatnot, for leftism or whatnot, right? The idea of a sectarian party or whatnot, basically your own ideologically rigid party or whatnot, against the other. Lenin was against sectarianism. So Lenin also pointed the whole purpose of revolutionary leadership or whatnot is revolutionary discipline means knowing when to split, because Lenin saw it was a big problem when there was undisciplined splits, where it's because splits because the party or whatnot is informed by the workers' movement or whatnot, right? So it's let's say something that was going on in Slaughter's time is the British labor, there was a certain sectarian party that arose in the British Labour Party, where they're the British working class have become opportunists. They want these reforms or whatnot. They support imperialism or whatnot. We need to split from the party or whatnot and basically find our own ideologically pure workers or whatnot, right? And in Lenin's own time or whatnot, he saw that there were certain leftists or whatnot who wanted to split from the party or whatnot, right? And Lenin said that no, that's sectarianism. If you have an undisciplined split, if you can't understand the workers will have contradictory tendencies or contradictory interests in the party or whatnot. You can't just always be splitting or whatnot. So the whole purpose of a revolutionary leadership is knowing when to split, because when you have an undisciplined split, all you're doing is just alienating the working class or whatnot. And in some sense, that's how you weaken your organization, because if you have too small of an organization, then that's not an organization. That's not a party of the masses or whatnot. That just becomes in some sense just a sectarian party or whatnot, right? The whole purpose of a party or whatnot is to lead the masses. But if you're trying to lead a very small subsect of the masses, then you're not a party or whatnot, right? Or then you just become a sectarian party or whatnot. So and this is the important. So with the whole democratic centralism thing, the importance of centralism is the importance of discipline in the party or whatnot, right? It's making sure that the party stays ideologically rigid or whatnot, right? But you also need democracy, because you need to make sure that people can express their disagreements. You need to make sure that people can express contradictory interests or whatnot. This is the democratic aspect of the party. If you only have centralism without democracy or whatnot, you just become a sectarian organization. If you just have democracy without the centralism or whatnot, you just become in some sense an opportunist party or whatnot, or just a mass party with no ideology. You need to have both or whatnot. You need both to be in dialogue with each other or not, right? So revolutionary leadership would mean knowing when to split why or not, right? Sorry, let me scroll down here real quick. Boop. Okay, so yeah, and then we kind of got into this when we were talking about the German left and the Bolsheviks, but like, what was Lenin's Marxism or whatnot? Because like Lenin was a Marxist or whatnot, but as I was kind of pointing out in this time during the Second International, in some sense, like Marxism is a popular ideology. Like in some sense, like almost everyone's a Marxist or whatnot at this time or whatnot, right? So like in some sense, what like Lenin, Luxemburg, or whatnot, like if they're the orthodox or the orthodox Marxist or whatnot, right? Like in some sense, what is Lenin, like what is unique about Lenin's Marxism, which is Marxism? What is like? Let me phrase it this way: what is Lenin's Marxist critique of Marxism? And so the second time I use Marxism, I mean Marxism as a movement or whatnot, right? As a world historical movement. And the first time I'm saying Marxist or whatnot is like Lenin's like understanding of Marxism, or Lenin's like theory of Marxism, right? So like, what was Lenin's Marxist critique of Marxism or not, right? So Lenin's where am I? The fucking thing. So Lenin's Marxism or whatnot is a theory of praxis or whatnot, right? Do you know the term praxis or not?
No.
Oh, sorry. So let me put it. So praxis just means practice or whatnot, or action or whatnot, right? So Lenin's whole Marxism or whatnot is So let's be clear here. Lenin's not just a theorist or whatnot, nor is Lenin just like an actionist or an activist or whatnot, right?
Both.
Yeah, he's both or whatnot. Lenin's Marxism or whatnot is developing a theory of practice or whatnot, right? A theory of action or whatnot, right? And let's be clear here. Like, what is theory for Marxists or whatnot? Because the so-called like leftists of today or the Marxists of today, like the Stalinists of today or whatnot, right? They have a misunderstanding of theory, because for them they understand like what is theory? They're like, oh, theory is just a generalization of experience of trial and error or whatnot, right? So it's like, things are done or whatnot, and then you write down the theory or whatnot, right? Like, oh, this is what we learned from trial and error. No, that's not what theory is for Marxism. For Marxism, theory is all about like, in some sense, like figuring out or like thinking about it's kind of so theory for Marxists was thinking about, for the Marxists, theory was all about thinking about why they thought they did what they did when they did so. And I know that sounds complicated, but basically the understanding there was that Lenin and the other Marxists, the orthodox Marxists of the time, like Luxemburg, like Trotsky, understood that theory and practice is a relationship that fluctuates in history or whatnot, right? That the part, like, in some sense, like, as we read Lenin's works or whatnot, right? Like, we read, I believe, four works by Lenin. We read What is to be done, the state and What is to be done, the state and revolution, imperialism, and left-wing communism and the infantile disorder. Now, here's the thing: anyone who doesn't have a dialectical understanding of Marxism or whatnot might read, So people nowadays or whatnot, and even at the time or whatnot, understood Lenin undialectically. What does that mean or whatnot? You have the You have the Stalinist tendency or whatnot, which thought like, oh, all of these works of Lenin or whatnot, in some sense, they're like, oh, he's just saying the same thing in all four of these works, or he's just like doing the same thing in all of these works or whatnot. That's a Stalinist understanding of like Leninism or whatnot, right? The anti-Leninist understanding or whatnot is being like, oh, it's just being like, oh, Lenin is just being contradictory or whatnot, because in what is to be
I think our time is up.
Oh, do you all have a room? Okay, yeah. I guess let me end the recording. Okay.